Okay, so every Amex card in the UK charges you 2.99% when you spend in a foreign currency. Except that's not entirely true, and it's actually worse, because underneath the fee, there's the exchange rate margin. And I asked Amex support directly what that margin is, and for pounds to euros, it's about 1% on top. So the real cost, based on the rate shared with me, would be roughly 4%. And on a £2,000 holiday spend, let's say somewhere like Spain, so you're spending in euros, that's 80 quid in fees. But every Amex earns points. So the actual question is, can the points ever justify the fee? And the answer, annoyingly, is yes, but only in one situation. And the Amex Gold pays double points abroad. And this is very interesting. So you get 2 membership rewards points per pound instead of 1 when you transact in a foreign currency. The first thing to understand is that a membership rewards point doesn't have a fixed value. It all depends on how you redeem it. So you can cash them out as a statement credit for around 0.45p per point, which is one of the lowest value redemptions. Gift cards aren't much better at around 0.5p per point, or you can transfer your points one-to-one into Avios, and that's where the real value starts to appear. And I've got a whole video coming out soon about how I plan to redeem 627,000 Avios, so subscribe and turn on notifications if you don't want to miss that. But the short version, and the rule I use, is that 1 penny per Amex point is the pass mark. So if you can get more than that, then you're doing well. And if you get less, unfortunately, you're leaving value on the table. So 2 points per pound abroad at a penny each is 2% back against a 4% cost, which means even on the gold card, you're still losing money on every foreign currency transaction. And remember, that's assuming that you're redeeming your points well. Like if you're taking statement credit or gift cards, you're giving back even more. And that's why, honestly, for everyday spending abroad, while gold is still probably the strongest Amex to use, it's still not a very good card to use overseas. The Platinum earns 1 point per pound abroad, so you'd actually be paying 4 to get maybe 1 back. And if you're a statement credit person, God forbid, you'd be paying 4 to get 0.5% back, which isn't a reward. That's not using a rewards card. That's just a charitable donation to Amex. So does that mean you should never use it? Well, not entirely. There's one situation where using an Amex abroad actually makes sense. But for your everyday holiday spending, coffee, taxis, jet skis, for that, you want a card with no foreign fees. Something like the Lloyds Ultra, there's nothing on foreign transactions. You get 1% cash back in your first year. There's no monthly fee. So the same £2,000 holiday spend would actually be 20 quid back instead of 80 quid down. Also, quick side note, but actually probably worth knowing. If you are absolutely desperate to use your Amex abroad, at some point the card machine is going to ask you a question. Pay in euros, or whatever the local currency is, or pay in pounds. That's the machine offering to do the conversion instead of Amex. Sounds helpful, but it's not. Okay, the machine's rate is almost always worse. And if you're on the gold card, it gets worse still, because if you pay in pounds, Amex will no longer see that transaction as a foreign one, so they'll kill your double points entirely. So ultimately, you'll get a worse rate and half the points, regardless of whether you're using Amex or not. With this one, the rule is always the same. Pay in the local currency. What about the one time that you should use an Amex card abroad where it actually makes sense besides a life or death situation? And it's when the spending unlocks something bigger than the fee. And the obvious one is a welcome bonus. So let's take the gold. Right now it pays 20,000 to 35,000 points if you spend £3,000 in your first 3 months. And using that 1 penny benchmark, that's £200 to £350 of value. And here's the thing about that £3,000 target. I think for a lot of people, it's actually quite hard to hit. At least, for individuals and not families. And 3 months of normal spending doesn't always get you there. But a holiday, so flights, hotels, transport, that demolishes it. But you've got to run the numbers. Put a £2,000 trip through the card and the fees cost you about £80 if you're spending in euros. But if that spending is what gets you over the line, you've paid £80 to unlock at least £200. That's no longer a fee. That's actually a pretty decent trade. The same logic can apply to bonus points on spending milestones. The gold card rewards you 5,000 points when you hit £10,000. So if you're sitting just short, and a holiday or a trip is going to tip you over, then the fee can justify itself. And there is one honorable but important mention: if it's not your money. So a work trip that you can get reimbursed on, but the points still land in your account, that's just different rules entirely. I mean, if that's the case, then fill your boots. So let me know if you spend abroad with your Amex. Don't be shy, someone must do it. And also, does anyone know more about their exchange rates than I do? Get in the comments, because I had to contact Amex support just to get the euro and the dollar rates. I couldn't find them anywhere. Also, if you want to continue the conversation over on Discord, you're welcome to join and become a founding member. I'll put a link to that in the description box. And thanks for watching. If you have any questions about any of this, I understand that it can sometimes get a bit confusing, so please do drop a comment if you need any help. I'm always here, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.